and welcome back to The Road to Episode 7, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, on December 16th, 17th and 18th, 2015, depending of course on where you are in the world. And this is going to be a bumper edition of the series. It is in fact the 100th installment in the series. This is The Road to Episode 7, number 100. Can you believe it? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 videos of me talking about the anticipation of a movie that has still not come out, and we're days away now. We are literally days away. We are under 2 weeks away from The Force Awakens finally hitting the cinemas, and we're going to see it very, very soon. Crazy stuff. 3 years ago I sat down to do this series. 3 years later, 100 videos later, a couple of live streams, a couple of podcasts, it's all come together now, and there's just so much news coming out. It is unbelievable. I just couldn't possibly cover it all. I'd love to, but I don't have the time. I'm still trying to finish my reviewing an Empire series. I'm gonna have to scratch a line under that. I will get to them eventually, but I think the only thing you're gonna see before The Force Awakens is my Attack of the Clones review, because I've been swamped with editing work. I've been swamped with writing my book, and yeah, it's all catch up to me, and I'm just feeling just dog tired and just I'm exhausted. Honestly, today has been so rough, just in terms of trying to stay awake. I've been sleeping horribly. Anyway, I'm going to get this video done because there's so much to talk about, and there'll be more to talk about in number 101 and 102. There's be quite a few more until we get to the film, but for now we're going to talk TV spots, we're going to talk more footage, we're going to talk planets, we're going to talk about spoilers, and I'll give you fair warning before we get to that. All sorts of stuff. Now before we do, I'm just going to check my messenger. No, it's nothing important. Okay, right, so I'm not going to put everything up on screen because I just don't have the time, but when it's applicable I will. First of all, I mean, I don't think I've even shown these yet, but you know, Entertainment Weekly and Empire Magazine, they put out big specials on The Force Awakens this past couple of weeks, and I've used kind of snippets of the interviews in the past few videos. So here's just a few of the covers. I'll put them up on screen. I think they're really cool, and if I had disposable income and stuff like that, I would love to collect these kinds of things. Like, I like all the alternate character posters, and I just think they all look really cool, especially the Kylo Ren limited edition Empire magazine that has an actual figure on the front page that's like attached to it. It's like a really, I mean, that'll be a collector's item in the future. That's really cool. I would have loved to have gotten one of those. Anyway, so that's the magazine covers out the way. I had them downloaded on my computer, so I needed to use them in a video. We've had more TV spots up the wazoo. I mean, they're just coming thick and fast from every angle, from every country, every direction. More TV spots, more TV spots. There was a shot on like a sports center channel or something like that of the Falcon and some ships flying towards a planet we'd never seen before. I won't even include a picture of that because it's low quality, but it looked really cool, got me excited for some strange reason. There was a TV spot that includes Nien Nunb from Return of the Jedi, the alien who was the co-pilot with Lando Calrissian on the attack on the second Death Star. So he's in The Force Awakens. We knew this quite a while ago, but seeing him in action in that little trailer snippet was really kind of cool. And again, I can't remember which TV spot it was, to be honest. I mean, I just couldn't cover every new shot that we're getting now because there's just there's too many of them, so I just can't do it. But the shot that we've seen in quite a few TV spots of BB-8 rolling around the circular corridor of the Falcon, and then we see kind of Rey saying, "Hold on, BB-8," or whatever. We see more of that, and we see also BB-8 fire off like a harpoon, so he kind of stops himself in midair, which is a really cool little shot. And I believe that was on a Spanish TV spot, which I couldn't even download to show you the clip or the picture, but that was cool. One that I really liked was kind of a First Order oriented TV spot, and I will show you a couple of stills from this because there's a couple of really interesting shots. The first one is you see kind of the back of General Hux's head along with all the troops out there on Starkiller Base, and all the stormtroopers raise their right hand up like that. You'll see it, I'll put the image on screen. And to me, that's kind of a very evocative image, provocative, in fact. You know, Star Wars hasn't been averse to kind of drawing on, well, let's say, you know, the Nazis and Hitler and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you look to the prequels, in episode 2, which I talk about in my Attack of the Clones review, how emergency powers were granted to Chancellor Palpatine to go to war, and that was kind of what happened with Hitler when he was the Chancellor. And it's there's definitely, I mean, stormtroopers. There's definitely parallels, in terms of having this kind of this great dictator in a way, and it seems very much like that in the Force Awakens footage of all the stormtroopers going like that, very almost Hail Hitler kind of thing, and yeah, it adds a kind of frightening edge to it, which I think is really interesting. And also we see another shot looking out, and the sky looks very normal. Now, if you remember a couple of videos ago, there was another shot from like a different angle, but the sky was like, it was like a hellish kind of like orangey glow or reddish kind of glow, and I'm thinking that is the Starkiller base weapon firing off, and it's just turned the whole sky into this. I mean, I'm guessing that he kind of amasses the troops out there and says like, this is the power of what we've created, and then it lights up or whatever. I don't know what it does or anything like that. Again, I kind of theorized a couple of videos back on Star Killer. We'll see what happens with that. But those are a couple of the new TV spots, things I want to talk about. A new one has just dropped today. It's called the Legacy featurette, which was featured at a Brazil Comic Con experience. It just went up on the Star Wars YouTube page. You can go check it out. It's a really cool behind-the-scenes featurette. There's a couple of new shots from the film, really fleeting though, like nothing really substantial. But there's a lot behind-the-scenes footage, mainly on one of the planets in the film, where the Millennium Falcon is situated. There's a couple of X-wings around. It's the scene when we see Poe Dameron and Finn, kind of when Poe kind of like grabs him on the shoulder as they're kind of walking apart, and it seems like they're about to go off to do battle. We see a lot behind-the-scenes footage from that part of the film, and we see kind of Poe Dameron talking about how he has been a fan as an adult and as a kid, and he's in his X-Wing pilot helmet, and he's just like, this is ridiculous. You see John Boyega walk up to the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and he's just like, he's in a dressing gown, and he's like, I'm shaking right now. He can't believe it. You hear Daisy Ridley talking about how special it is to be in the film and stuff, and there's a nice shot of her looking very kind of admiringly at Harrison Ford during a behind-the-scenes moment. There's a shot of Oscar Isaac looking kind of like very confused at something that they filmed, and there's loads of little great moments in this behind-the-scenes featurette. A few bits from Mark Hamill, Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams. You kind of get just a nice kind of fluff piece. There's a great part where John Boyega gets Harrison Ford to sign a big Stormtrooper toy that he's got, and he's got a big grin on his face afterwards. We heard that story quite a while ago. To see it now is really cool, and it really gets me excited, to see them put in this kind of amount, this quality of like behind-the-scenes featurette. It's about a minute and a half long, out on YouTube before the film comes out. If they keep that up for the DVD, the Blu-ray, I mean, I would love to just see like a 2-hour comprehensive making of. I mean, that would be, please Lucasfilm, please Disney, give us a proper awesome making of The Force Awakens. That is what we want. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I heard that Mark Hamill went to some office in California, I think, in the past couple of weeks to record stuff for the Force Awakens Blu-ray. So, commentary maybe, that would be amazing. Oh my god. Or, at least if he's going there to record something, it should be substantial enough that we're going to get some decent extras, which I'm really excited about, which is really strange because I haven't even seen the film yet. But you know what I mean. You collectors, you Blu-ray fanatics who enjoy special features will probably understand where I'm coming from on that one. Right. I think that's about it for the TV spots and stuff. Yeah, pretty much. Now, Empire Magazine was talking about the planets of The Force Awakens. So, the desert planet of Jakku we've known about since, when was it? It was either, was it Star Wars Celebration, I believe, when J.J. Abrams said that it's not Tatooine, it's Jakku. Now we know that the forest planet that we've seen a lot of things from the film in is called Takodana, which I think I mentioned a few videos ago. I wasn't sure if it was Takodana or Takodana, but it's Takodana. There's another planet called Dakar. That's D, what do you even call it? Man, I'm writing a book now. I don't even know how to tell you that's not an apostrophe. Is it apostrophe? Well, anyway, D apostrophe, like I'm, I apostrophe M, whatever. D apostrophe Q-A-R, Dakar. I'm presuming is how you pronounce this. And also Hosnian Prime. I don't know what Hosnian Prime is, but apparently Dakar is the home of the Resistance base. So yeah, and they know these things from like the Lego tie-in kits and things like that. And again, they're knowing it from obviously Empire had access to the cast and crew of the film, but it was not really knowing about where the Starkiller base is. I don't think that has a planet name that we know of just yet. So there we go, some planet information. Now, oh wait, no, more. There's more. I wrote down more. The planet Dakar was first mentioned in the novel Lost Stars, which is one of the Journey to the Force Awakens novels, which I didn't read. It was kind of a junior novel, and it says here, at one point, one of the protagonists is scouting several systems with the rest of his squadron in order to find where the Empire is building the second Death Star. They visit a planet, Dakar, which is described like this: the thick canopy of trees covering the surface of Dakar. We should list this planet as a potential base in the future. The Empire's not interested, not much space lane traffic in this area, plus there's plenty of water. So it seems that we're getting two kind of foresty planets, which I kind of like. I like that. I was saying earlier how I was saying in videos and videos ago how, you know, it's that kind of convenient Star Wars thing where every planet is one kind of landscape. You know, Hoth, ice, Tatooine, desert, and you know, Endor, forest, and so on and so on. I suppose there was the moon of Yavin 4, but you know, for the most part. So I think that's kind of cool if we get two planets that are pretty much kind of the same kind of terrain and stuff like that. Right now, no, let me try and think. Okay, there's a few more bits and pieces that are really interesting to me. I'm going to leave them until the next video. Even though this is a bumper edition, I don't want it to be ridiculously long. I will say this just came out yesterday. If you remember my video where I ranted for ages about how George Lucas has said he's done with Star Wars, he's divorced it, he sees it like an ex-girlfriend, you don't talk to them, you don't think about them, you know, he's done, basically, and that he feels like if he got involved, he'd just fuck everything up from their perspective, so it, you know, it really saddened me. But he has seen the film. He recently saw the film and he said that he really liked it. And of course the fan reaction to that has been, he's lying! He must be lying! You know, they're paying him to lie. And it's like, well, calm down a minute, you know, I'm sure. He couldn't say that he didn't like it because he know that he'd sound like a bitter old man. Okay, and then some people are like, oh, that's really cool. That makes you feel a lot better about it. So it's so funny when you just get the fans jumping in with just the 50-50 hot and cold reactions to anything and everything that comes out about these films, but or about this film. But I mean, there will be more films after The Force Awakens, obviously. So that was something I wanted to mention. And now I want to talk about spoilers. A shit ton of spoilers. Now, I'm going to give you kind of a hint of how big these spoilers are. For me, none of them ruin the film for me. None of them make me think, oh no, you know. But just little details. Okay, so the first one, I'll give you fair warning before I say any of them. The first one is about Max von Sydow's character's name, and you won't recognise it. But if you don't want to know what his character name is, then turn the video off now. I'm sure you don't mind knowing what it is. A children's book story was a children's storybook, I should say, was released in some country, and someone took a picture of it, and we found out that Max von Sydow's character is called Lor San Tekka. That's three names, Lor San Tekka. So that's one little mini spoiler there. And also from that book, we find out a detail about Maz Kanata's character in relation to another character we might know. So if you don't want to know this as a kind of major spoiler, well, it's not a major spoiler. If you don't know like any details at all, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Even though I think there's some fun stuff to go in this video, so maybe try and stick around. Maz Kanata was Han Solo's old mentor. That's really interesting to me. We know she either is or has been a pirate. We know from J.J. Abrams that she's lived for 1,000 years. She's older than Yoda, and just I like the idea that there's a connection between her and Han Solo. It'll be interesting to see how they react with each other and that kind of thing, and also just seeing Han Solo interact with a digital character that isn't the Star Wars Special Edition will be quite interesting, I think. I'm still just kind of like, wow, it's going to be ridiculous just seeing Han Solo in a movie, period, because it really seems like he's one of the main characters in this film, which is pretty awesome. Even though I much prefer Luke Skywalker, I'm hoping again, fingers crossed, that we're going to get to see a lot more of Luke in Episode 8. Now, a French soundtrack listing came out for the film. And I think I talked about it before, where when Episode 1 came out, they released the track listing for the soundtrack, and it was either like Qui-Gon's Funeral or Funeral of a Jedi or something like that, and it was like, oh my god. Again, I've said it before, I didn't get spoiled by that at the time. I wasn't that much into the internet constantly. I would kind of get onto it when I could have access to it back in the day where, internet in every kind of home in the world was not really a thing at all. You had to kind of go into school to get it, or go into like a youth centre to use the internet. In fact, I remember going to youth centre and downloading the first trailer for The Phantom Menace. It took me like 3 hours or something. I had to keep re-registering an hour's worth of time on the computer to get this little tiny, it was like a little tiny QuickTime box like that on the screen. I was looking at it, seeing Darth Maul and stuff, and it was awesome. But yeah, getting off track here. What was I even talking about? Right, so the soundtrack for The Force Awakens came out. I saw it in a video, someone just posted it, and I looked away, didn't read it, and then someone messaged it to me on Facebook, and I saw it, and I was like, ah. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but basically it kind of confirms what I thought the ending was going to be anyway. So I know what the last scene of the movie is going to be because of that soundtrack listing. Don't know how I feel about that. It was kind of a bit of a disappointing sting to it, to be honest. But I mean, it just seemed very likely that's where the movie's going to end to me. I'm not even going to talk about it, so don't worry about that one. And then we have 2 more spoilers. And again, I don't think these are really big spoilers, but Kathleen Kennedy said in an interview about a certain character who will basically not be dying in The Force Awakens. So if you don't want to get spoiled by that, then again, turn the video off. Thank you for watching. And it's not a main character, but are you ready? You're fully forewarned. Captain Phasma will be in episode 8. Kathleen Kennedy was like, yeah, absolutely. She's a character we really want to get behind. And obviously they want this kind of badass female villain role to be, marketable and kind of for girls who want to have a bit of that kind of that side of the Star Wars universe, fandom as well. For every girl who wants to kind of look up to Rey, there can be someone who can indulge in looking up to, or not looking up to, but kind of being a fan of the darker characters like Captain Phasma. So Gwendolyn Christie's character will be returning in episode 8, so she doesn't buy the farm in The Force Awakens, which many thought she might do. Now, it seems to me like you've got to kill off a bad guy in a Star Wars film. So, what are we going to get? Are we going to get Kylo Ren dying in The Force Awakens, or are we going to get General Hux, Domhnall Gleeson's character? For me, it's got to be General Hux, fitting in with the same kind of vein of Grand Moff Tarkin in the original Star Wars. I think that's where they're going to go with it. Again, not to mirror A New Hope too much, but I really can't see them killing off Kylo Ren. If they did, I'd be really upset, because I said this, and this is a fitting thing to talk about in the 100th video of this series. I said way back in the earlier stages of the series, or at least the middle stages, that the key thing they have with The Force Awakens, with episode 7, and I think it was after they'd announced the cast, they got Mark Hamill coming back, they got Carrie Fisher coming back, they got Harrison Ford coming back, they got the 3 back, the three main players from the original trilogy. That's sorted, the nostalgia's going to be there for them. But they really need to get the new cast right, because that's what's going to ultimately carry the new trilogy. But also, for me, I thought the key thing was, how do you top Darth Vader? What do you do with a problem like replacing Darth Vader? The most iconic movie villain of all time. I mean, you can go to Dracula and stuff, but everyone in the world knows the image of Darth Vader. Everyone knows that breathing, everyone knows, Luke, I am your father, even though that's not the actual quote. The quote is, no, I am your father, but I mean, hey, I grew up as a person called Luke. I heard Luke, I am your father every single day in school. Anyway, Darth Vader, one of the most iconic movie characters in the history of cinema. I mean, think about that. I mean, cinema, in the grand scheme of things, is pretty young. It's only like 130, 40 years old, and you can kind of quantify what are the big things, I mean, you can look at Flash in the Pan films that are kind of big and make loads of money, but do they really last and kind of stay in people's minds? Darth Vader, Star Wars, they go hand in hand as these iconic movies and as this iconic character. Luke Skywalker, not so much. Han Solo, a little bit more. Princess Leia, kind of in the middle. Maybe even Boba Fett is more of an icon than maybe Luke Skywalker. Just the iconography of the look, and how much people love dressing up as those characters and the stormtroopers. But Darth Vader is the one, and he was a great character. He was played well, both physically by David Prowse and the voice by James Earl Jones. So how do you top that or even come close to it? Well, you hire Adam Driver, obviously, because for me, I mean, it's horrible, not horrible to say, but it sounds silly, for me to say it. Like in my head now, I'm thinking you sound like an idiot, but I'm kind of sold. He's got the look down. Well, not that he's got the look down. The art department and the production designers, they got the look down. They got the helmet, I think, looks fantastic. The robes are great, and then you have the kind of the different look where you can pull the robe off and you can see the back of the helmet, which is more like Darth Vader. In fact, take a look at this image that just came out from Rolling Stone, which was really, really cool. That was pretty, I really love that image, and I like how, again, the back of the helmet looks a bit like the Darth Vader. It ties into him obsessing over Darth Vader, and yeah, I'm just really excited about his motivations as a character. Adam Driver reportedly, was staying in character on set. He was really getting into the role. He did months of physical training, all that sort of stuff. He used to be in the military, and he looked at it as a kind of not that Kylo Ren is a villain, but someone who believes he is right. And that's the thing that that's nothing new. It's not like he's breaking new ground and doing that. I mean, that is how the most effective villains work, when they believe that they're right and they don't think they're evil or they're wrong. Look at people like Hannibal Lecter and so on. But I like that he's taken that approach, and I'm interested to see where his character's going to go. For me, the look is down, and the physical presence is down. The way that Adam Driver holds himself as Kylo Ren, and we know from the Jimmy Kimmel special that Adam Driver was in the Kylo Ren, helmet, suit, whatever you want to call it, the outfit in every single shot. He didn't have a stand-in when they easily could, and so he owns that role. And in every shot I've seen him in, he just commands the screen. Just the way he walks over to Finn, in that last shot of the main trailer. I mean, he just has this kind of imposing presence to him. So he's got the presence down, the look is there, you just need the character now, and the character and the performance. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and I really hope that they don't kind of have this golden opportunity with a character that can take them through these next 3 films, and they kill him off. That would be a shame. Gone way off a tangent, in a tangent there, but that was that. Have I even talked about the Entertainment Weekly? Not the Entertainment Weekly? Yeah, they had a bunch of new pictures and stuff. I really can't remember if I talked about them. But there's a really cool, if I've already done this, I apologize, but there's a really cool image, and it ties in with the last bit of this video of Kylo Ren, Rey, and Finn in the snowy forest, which we presume is kind of near the end of the film. And we've seen kind of Finn getting his lightsaber ready in that location. We've seen Kylo Ren unmasked, walking towards him with a lightsaber, and we assume that they're going to duel, and Finn looks like he's shitting himself. Now, final spoiler for the video, final thing to say in the video. So if you don't want to be spoiled any little detail at all, again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Harrison Ford dropped a spoiler on Twitter last night. I think they called it the Twitter Awakens hashtag, and they had all the cast. They had Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley, Lupita Nyong'o, Gwendolyn Christie, all answering questions. J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, all answering questions through the official Star Wars Twitter account about Star Wars and The Force Awakens, all that kind of stuff. And someone asked Harrison Ford, what's your favourite action scene in the movie? You ready for this? He said the sword fight between Rey and Kylo Ren. Fantastic visual storytelling. Now, do you ever have that thing where you kind of read a sentence and your brain kind of takes the beginning and the end of it and kind of just fills in the blanks and then you move on? Well, that's what I did with that tweet when I was scrolling through, and I just assumed that he'd said the sword fight between Finn and Kylo Ren. Now, he misspelled Kylo as Kilo. Kylo Ren. But yeah, he said Rey and Kylo Ren. The sword fight between Rey and Kylo Ren. Fantastic visual storytelling. His favourite action scene in the film. That's interesting. Especially considering that the big Jakku Millennium Falcon TIE Fighter chase sequence seems to be the big kind of money sequence of the film. That he would prefer that. But then I guess it's a more kind of personal, duel kind of thing going on. So what's going to happen? Is Rey going to pick up, Anakin's lightsaber, what I believe to be her grandfather's and father's lightsaber, and take off where Finn left off? Is Kylo Ren going to defeat Finn? Is he going to cut him down? Is he going to chop his arm off? Is he going to kill him? Who knows what's going to happen? But it seems like Rey is going to face off with Kylo Ren, and I don't think she's going to come off too well from it. So there's all sorts of things that could happen. How is she going to be saved? She can't defeat Kylo Ren. I mean, just looking at how how you know, how in his role he seems to be as this kind of, is he a Sith? I don't know, but he seems to be, you know, very imposing when he's holding the lightsaber across like her neck and stuff. And she's just a kid, you know, so I don't see her coming out on top if they do have a duel. Again, people have speculated that perhaps Harrison Ford got confused. I mean, again, he is around the same age as my granddad, and I'm sure that a slip of names can happen very easily, especially considering he misspelled Kylo as Kilo. Maybe he meant Finn and Kylo Ren. Some people said maybe Harrison Ford is trolling us. I don't think that's the case, but it's definitely possible he could have just put the wrong name in there. Who knows? But it'd be interesting to see what happens. I would love to see it, though I was kind of expecting that we would see Rey and Kylo face off in Episode 9. I thought that would be kind of the big one. But, you know, just like Luke and Vader, there was kind of more than just one lightsaber duel, and it might be interesting to see them face off against each other during different parts of their journeys throughout this trilogy, which I'm hoping is what this trilogy is going to be about. Rey and Kylo Ren, the grandkids of Darth Vader. So we'll see what happens. But there you go. Let me know about anything I've talked about in this video. If you can remember everything I talked about in this video. Thank you for watching very much. And yeah, what else can I say really? Well, yeah, going with that lightsaber thing, I don't think Rey has got what it takes to take on Kylo Ren. So what is going to happen? He's not going to kill her. She's definitely the star of the trilogy. But what's going to happen? You know, is Finn going to sacrifice himself? Is Han going to sacrifice himself? Is Chewie going to sacrifice himself? Is Luke going to turn up? I doubt it. You know, is Supreme Leader Snoke going to rear his ugly 25-foot long head? Who knows? It's all up in the air still, so it's not really that big of a spoiler, but it was funny seeing people overreact and say, oh, you've ruined the whole movie for me, Harrison. How could you do this? This was the official Star Wars Twitter account. Yeah, I just found it kind of quite funny. And I babbled on for nearly half an hour now. But yeah, the last thing I want to say was, for anyone who's wondering what I'm going to do, and I'll recap this again just before it happens, but if you're wondering what I'm going to do when the film comes out, how I'm going to deal with the series, I'll tell you right now, before checking my phone. Okay, there we go. First of all, the 16th, when is it? The 18th is on Friday, the 17th is on Thursday, 16th is on, right, on the 16th of January, start again, I'll leave that in. On the 16th of December, which is a Wednesday, that's when the film comes out in some of the countries like France and Sweden and Norway and stuff. And also, let me just start again. Yeah, so my plans for the week of The Force Awakens being released, as you know, as far as this series goes, I have a lot of videos planned. Now, I get back to the UK on Monday the 14th of December. On Tuesday the 15th, I'll be going radio silence, won't be looking at anything on Facebook, anything on YouTube, nothing. You won't be able to see me, you won't be able to contact me, still even bother. I'm not looking at anything until I see the film. You know, that 2-day period is kind of just like a minefield of being spoiled, because on the 16th of December, the film comes out in France, in Sweden and Norway, and so it's going to get spoiled, and I don't want to be spoiled. So, on midnight of the 16th, I'll be going to see The Force Awakens, and at around 2 o'clock in the morning, on Thursday the 17th of December, I will have seen the film. So, on the 16th of December, on the Wednesday, in the evening, I'll be posting a video talking about my radio silence and how it was to avoid the spoilers, and hopefully I won't have been spoiled by anyone. And I can talk about that, and also just my final anticipation as you know, I get ready to go see the film. And then the next video will be posted probably as soon as I get back, which will probably be up for people in the UK, probably say Thursday morning on the 17th of December. There will be my first reaction to The Force Awakens. I'll probably film some stuff when I go to the cinema on the way back. I'm going with a friend, I might film some stuff with him, but I'll give you my first reactions to the film. There will be spoilers, I'll be talking about everything. Okay? So you're probably going to want to avoid it, you know, at least until you've seen the film. And then later on in the evening of that day, I'll post a non-spoiler review. I'll sit down, I'll collect my thoughts after having a sleep, and I will do a non-spoiler review and tell you what I thought of the film without spoiling any of the major plot points whatsoever. Okay? Sound good? And then on, I don't know, maybe on the 18th. On the 18th, I will do a spoiler-filled review, and I'll go into everything in as much detail as I can possibly think of. And then the following week, after I've seen the film a couple more times. I'm already booked to see it twice, so I'm going to probably see it a couple more times, you know, even if it's terrible, just to make sure, you know, and if it's great, just to experience it, you know, as much as I can. You know, this is never going to happen again. We are never going to get a film that has been not even anticipated for 30 years, a film we never thought would happen for 30 years, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, you're going to get it in a few years, and, you know, Episode 8 is going to be great, I'm sure, but it's not going to be the same. Episode 8 isn't going to be the first time we see Luke Skywalker on the big screen in over 30 years. It'll be the first time we see Luke Skywalker on the big screen, you know, since, you know, a year and a half ago. This one is going to be special, no matter what happens. And so I'll do one final video the week after it comes out at some point, and I'll give you my final thoughts, anything else I want to say about it, and that will be the end of the road to Episode 7. And as you people have requested it, on January 1st, the road to Episode 8 will begin. And I'll talk about all the stuff we know about Episode 8 so far, and we'll go from there for the next year and 5 months. So there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching. Look forward to the rest of the series. I thank everyone who watches these and comments along and just throws a like onto the videos and stuff. You know, a lot of people are kind of joining this series recently. I've been doing it for 3 years. I probably wouldn't recommend going back and watching some of them because there's a lot of stuff that's just covering the same ground. But it's interesting to go back and see all those my reactions to, you know, the cast reveal and the first trailer, and then the when we thought it was Tatooine, and then the second trailer, and then the third trailer, and the TV spots, and the behind-the-scenes Comic-Con reel, and the poster reveal, and everything else that goes along with it. And I think I've finally run out of things to say. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one, and there will be quite a few more, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe, I don't know, it depends how much more news comes out before I leave a week next Monday. So yeah, there's more to come before the last videos of the series, but yeah. And also thank you to the people who may be watching this right now and aren't really into Star Wars, which is probably nigh on impossible, but if you are, I'm sorry for all the Star Wars content, but again, as I said, this will never happen again, so I have to kind of gush while I can and enjoy it. I'm just enjoying the anticipation, the build-up. I'm starting to really realize now that we're days away from this film. I remember when I was saying, oh, 300 days away, it's so close. Well, fuck. We are days. I mean, it's like what? It's the 5th now, so 11, 12 days. Mental. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
I don't know, 5 seconds.